right. This is the Country Cable satellite installation checklist. I'm going to just go over some things, some basic things, everything you need to do when you're doing a satellite installation, things to check on, all that. I'll just start from the beginning, from the introduction. When you go up, whether you're doing Dish or DirecTV, you always want to introduce yourself, who you're with, what your name is, and what you're there to do. You always want to give a good introduction. That way they know, okay, this is who you are. Make sure your name badge is visible, that you have it on. If it's cold outside and you have a jacket, make sure you have a visible name badge so they know what you're there to do. If you're in, for any reason, if you're going to be not there during the time that we've scheduled it, you need to give a personal phone call and make sure that that's going to be okay. But that should not be happening. We should be making it all the different times that we have. So a walkthrough. First off, you're going to introduce yourself. Then you're going to go. I just simply ask the customers, okay, to show me where the rooms are that they want the satellite TV hooked up at. They'll give you a walkthrough, tell you the different rooms. Things you're going to be looking for is you want to know where do they want the DVR. Typically, they're going to want the HD DVR in the living room. If it's a dual DVR system like with Dish, they're going to want, normally living room and master bedroom. Of course, you want to be specific, make sure that's what they want. Do a walkthrough with them, and check out things you want to be checking for in the walkthrough. One, do the rooms that they're wanting hooked up, do they have cable now or satellite now? Is there cables ran into those rooms? That's a big key. Is there cables already run in those rooms? That way you know from the get-go if you're going to have to run a line or not. Another thing you want to check when you're doing this walkthrough with them is the quality of the cable. Is it just a rinky-dink little cable that they ran themselves? What does it look like? Be checking for that, because we may need to be replacing stuff. So you do the walkthrough inside the house. Make sure you have your paperwork and different things like that. I like to sit the paperwork down, and sometimes the customer may have a few questions. Before we get started, you want to make sure you don't want to ask them if they have any questions, but they may, and you need to just be ready for that. And then after that, typically I'll tell them, okay, well, I'm going to be in and out, and I'm just going to take a walk around your house, do a site survey, things like that. I inform them on what I'm about to do. So then you want to do a site survey, and you're just going to walk around the house. Of course, if they already have a satellite dish up on the roof of some sort, normally that's going to be an okay spot to put the new dish. However, if you're doing a Dish or DirecTV, that may not be the case, because DirecTV is looking at more satellites. So you want to do a very thorough site survey before you do anything. You mess up on the site survey, you're having a lot extra work to do. Removing dishes, putting extra holes in customers' houses, that's a lot to do, and that is not good. So do an accurate site survey, walk around the house. If they don't have anything, you want to do a site survey. The first objective is that you're going to get a great signal. If there's no problem with signal around the house, meaning there's no trees, the next thing you want to look for is putting the dish closer to where the pre-wire is. And almost every home nowadays has some form of pre-wire. If not, which is rare, then you want to think about putting the dish close to the place where you're going to have to run cables, maybe beside the living room or maybe in a certain spot. Also, you don't want to have to run any cables in front of the house. I mean, if you're having to run them, you want it to be towards the back so that people aren't seeing cables ran around their house. So you want to find out where the dish needs to go and if it's going to be able to make a good quality signal. After you do that, you want to go and inform the customer exactly what you're going to do. That way they know. When we're mounting on roofs, just another thing is we do not mount over living spaces. We mount over non-living areas. That's the overhangs, so that so if by any chance, even though we're tarring and caulking every single hole, no matter what, it doesn't matter. You puncture their home, you tar it or caulk it. But no matter what, if there was a leak, it would not leak over a living area. It would leak over an overhang, which would not affect or damage their home. So you never want to be mounting over a living area. There's maybe a special case where someone has a ton of trees, mountains area, and then you need to be informing them of that, and then you need to put on 3 to 4 times as much tar as you would on a normal installation. But that's neither here nor there. That's a rare case. So after, you want to inform the customer exactly where you're going to put it. You know, if it's a complete new connect, you want to inform them how you're going to run the cables. See, I'm going to put it here. Typically on a pre-wired home, there's a box of some sort, and if there's no trees obscuring signal, you want to go directly above that, where that box is, and run the cables down into the box. That's the normal way to do it. And you want to inform the customer of all of that. That way they know where the cables are going. You know, the less surprises, you know, the better they're going to feel. So you do your walkthrough, you do your site survey, you know where your dish is going, you get a good assessment of what you have to do. Maybe you're going to need to run a new line, things like that. You've got all that in your head. That way you can, you know, you're not going to have any surprises. Then you want to begin the installation. And I start by doing all the boxes inside first. So I go inside, I put in my DVRs, I hook everything inside up first, get all that work done. You know, checking my lines if I need to run new lines, if there's you need to put new connectors, things like that. I get all the boxes up to where they're going to be showing I need to get a signal. You know, put them all on the signal screen. Of course, with Dish Network, they're going to automatically come up to the signal screen. With DirecTV, you're going to need to take them, you know, through the English setup, and then it'll get to the Dish signal stream. So I get all that hooked up, and then what I'm doing with that too, for example, if we're doing a DirecTV, the main line you're wanting to find first, and you want to eliminate, is the line that's going to have the power insert on it. That's the one you need to know exactly which one it is. So I'll typically find out which room I want to do that in, and I figure that out by normally by the quality of the cable. Like if there's one room that I know someone ran brand new cable into, maybe a few years ago, maybe a DirecTV installer or a Dish installer ran brand new cable into it, I know the cable's going to be good, and I'm looking for a good quality outlet. If one of their rooms they're using a splitter going around the house, around the room, do not use that room at all. That power inserter needs to be plugged not into a surge protector, directly into an outlet itself. So, you know, I'll try to find that room, screw that line, that cable line, into my box so I can find it outside with my power meter. Once I narrow that one down, then I can find the rest of the receivers and plug them in and find all the cables. Now with Dish Network, what I'll do is typically if there's, say we're doing a 2 or 3 room, what I'll do is find out where my DVR is. Because normally you're going to have the second room of the DVR needs to be going to the master bedroom. So I want to find out which one that one is. So I'll only screw the cable from the wall into the HD DVR. The rest of the receivers I won't screw it in, so that I can narrow that one down and make sure I'm diplexing that to a bedroom. Alright, once I got the inside hooked up and we're at a signal strength screen or whatever, then I go outside. And this is where then I put the dish up, putting the dish up, level, 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 level. Don't wait, you know, don't go fast and then have to redo stuff. That's because you're going to take more time. You think you're doing better by going fast, and you want to go slow and make sure that you're perfectly plumb. With DirecTV's mounts, they have a cool snazzy feature where you can go left to right with them and turn them. Dish Network mounts don't. So you want that top bar, you want to put a level on that top bar and drill in slow so you don't tilt it. So do that, take your time there. Caulk, always, every hole. I put a dab of caulk on the hole, then I drill down. Not after, because the caulk is in the seal. That's the thing. Afterward, you're just covering the top and it can get underneath. Get that going. Then I want to run my line. So if you're doing a new connect, of course, if there's a Dish Network or a DirecTV already at the house, you may not have to run lines over to the cable box, which would be real convenient. If you do, then you want to run your line. Things you want to do with that, you want to make sure that it looks as neat as possible. You don't want, again, you don't want anything going in the front of the house if you can help it. And you want to, when you're going over an eave or something like that, you just want that to look as clean and right angled as possible. So you run your line into your cable box, tap into the lines that you've already found with power, screw in, then you go for, you spin get your signal with either Dish or Direct. You know, you spin, you get your signal, Of course, with Dish, like I told before, a lot of times you have to go. There's 3 satellites, so you want to take the middle one. DirecTV, typically you will pick it up the first one as long as you're perfectly level and your angles are exactly right.